you doing, everyone? Welcome to this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show, where we talk about life, we talk about liberty, and yes, we talk about the pursuit of happiness, and we show the world and you, the audience, that Cajuns do have intelligence. Let me throw this out the way if you're watching on YouTube and Rumble. We got a special guest in the show. I am this morning we were supposed to record, and maybe this is fate. So but
it was destiny.
It was destiny. Anthony Hayes, co-host of Brothers Just Searching, and my brother, and also assistant pastor of Coda Homes Fellowship Church. What's happening?
Nothing much. Busy. We got rained out today, so we couldn't. I was on the lawn crew. You know, I'm a man without a country. You know, I'm kind of like Donald Trump. I don't belong to nobody. I'm just out there doing my own thing. So when I'm at work,
that's more like you sounding more like John Kennedy now.
Yeah,
not John Kennedy. I get them mixed up. Robert Kennedy and John Kennedy.
Yeah, him.
John Kennedy is our senator. I mean, Robert Kennedy is our is running for. I was about to say our candidate. It's not our candidate. I'm not voting for Robert Kennedy.
But you see, I like that though. It's like when you go in one crew. You know, you're different. You're talking to somebody, and just you know them in a way, but it's different when you go to different crews. I like it like that.
Well, and in me today,
it's not boring.
It was, you know, with the weather, I knew we was probably gonna get off early, and we kind of got off earlier than we normally do. But get to the shop, my truck is broken, so I'm gonna be a mechanic probably for the next couple of days. I'm still in my work uniform.
Wow.
But I was supposed to record this morning and got in here. The studio had some stuff all over the place. So I decided, hey, I'm going to wait on it. And I got some good topics for us today, Bug.
Right.
To let you know, the audience, that I do call him Bug because his nickname Boogie.
That's right.
He boogies for the Lord.
Yep, a boogie down.
So, but I'm glad I didn't film this morning because there were some things that I think needs to be talked about. And one is that Donald Trump, this came out of the blue, but apparently this was somebody asked him a question, and he said he was going to come out with a video. And it's funny how the media is doing that. Like, oh, he's finally talking about a position, but he was always in this position the way he believed. This is according to Fox News. Former President Donald Trump announced on Monday his position on whether abortion should be banned. Again, he has already said what he thought. He already said that he believes it should be left up to the states. But following months of not talking about the stance on the combustion and critical issue of his 2024 rematch with President Joe Biden, the presumptive Republican presidential nominee took on his social media platform on Sunday night to say that he would issue a statement on abortion and abortion rights. In a video posted hours later on early Monday morning, Trump explicitly affirmed his position in a viral fertilization, or IVF, and his emphasis he supports for states determine their own laws for abortion, so long as they are exemptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. Donald Trump made some statements. The states will determine by vote or legislation, or perhaps both, and whatever they decide must be the law of the land. That is Donald Trump's stance. He said many states will be different. And you know, okay, Book, this is my thing, you know, about abortion. Look, I believe life starts at conception. I know you believe the same way.
Right.
We have discussed this on Brothers Just Searching multiple times, and we're discussing it here on on the Cajun Conservative. I agree with Donald Trump about the states.
Right.
If there would be a 15-week abortion ban, I would not be against it.
Right.
But if you remember this, Book, the whole argument of Roe v. Wade for pro-lifers were, hey, get it back to the states. Get it back to the states. Now the pro-lifers are saying, well, now it's to the state. Let the federal government ban it. And, okay, I'm against abortion. If the legislation would pass, or they make a state law, which Roe v. Wade wasn't like that. You know, a lot of people thought that the government put a law allowing abortion. It wasn't. The federal government said, hey, you have a constitutional right to have an abortion. That was not a law.
Right.
So if the federal government would create a law to ban abortions at 15 weeks, that's constitutional. The Congress can do that, and I think Congress should do that. But at the same time, the argument is going back to the states. I agree with Donald Trump that right now states should determine what an abortion ban should be. Right.
Well, the thing is, you got to realize that abortion, it's really, you know, it's murder. I mean, there's no way about it. And, you know, I heard, matter of fact, I had an argument at a guy at work back in the day. We were talking, a black guy and a white guy we talked about this, and we had a really hot debate where I had to shut it down because we were probably gonna start throwing mud at each other. But the thing is, though, it's a gift from God. You know, this
Life,
abortion, but this abortion thing, if you really study, it's not about the woman's choice. See, a lot of people, liberals, I heard this the other day, and we got to get this straight. I heard Von Gino. It's okay to mention Von Gino on there?
Yeah.
I heard his program. I don't listen to him all the time, but he said something that makes sense the other day. He said, what the liberals say and what they really mean is two different things. So when they say pro-life is the woman's choice, is this and that, what they really, but with abortion in its heart, as it really was set up to do, it was set up for the one world government. It's a depopulation program. Let's just say what it is. It's designed to do like Hitler did. See, people don't realize when Hitler started killing people, he didn't go after the Jews right away. He didn't go after other ethnic groups. What he did is he went after the retarded. He went after the stupid people and said that was his first. Yeah, that was his first target. Was people, and that's what they use in abortion. Well, this child's retarded. He or she's not gonna be good for the state. So you see the spirit of the same thing we accuse Hitler of doing.
That goes to the argument of most of the dystrophy and stuff like that. But going back to Trump's comments, though, you know, first off, again, Trump has always had this stance.
Right.
It's not something that just came out the blue that, Donald Trump, like this IVF thing. This all started with Alabama, where Alabama said, you know, look, we think that that's a form of abortion. The Republican legislation came back and said, listen, we're going to change it. But the Democrats are still holding, Republicans are against IVF. If we were against IVF, Alabama wouldn't have changed the ruling.
Right.
The ruling has changed, which makes the state Supreme Court decision void. It's not there no more. But Donald Trump has always had the stance, hey, let the states determine what the weak ban. Look, Louisiana, I'm proud of Louisiana. We have a no abortion law here. You can't have an abortion here in Louisiana. Right. Florida just passed a 6-week abortion ban, if I'm not mistaken. That's all states determining what the limit of abortion is. And I understand your argument. What's the background about it? This is why the Democrats do push abortion. Yeah, it's because of all the stuff you said. Yeah, but Donald Trump making statements. Look, first off, I think he's trying to gain more of the base because the Democrat Party is trying to say, hey, this is going to be a hot button issue. In the 2024 election. This is why they're probably right on that instance. Unfortunately, more Americans, even some Republicans, think that we should have abortion in this country, which I don't know. Right. If you're a pro-lifer or you call yourself a Republican, you should not be in agreement for any abortion. Well, that's my opinion.
Well, this is the thing you got to realize, and this is where I talked to when Pastor Mike was alive, when our pastor was alive, when I used to work with him. He had a job, a company on the side, and I used to work with him. And this is, he says, the argument that the Democrats and the liberals make. You see, they're not going to come out and just say, hey, we want to kill kids for depopulation and one world government. They ain't going to tell you that. They're going to use other methods so you can come with their plan. They're
not even using the term abortion no more. No. It is no, I'm trying to think of it because I talked about it the other day, reproductive rights.
Right, yeah.
And I did an episode a while back. How the heck can you say that's reproductive rights? You're eliminating a pregnancy.
Right.
You're taking away life. That's not reproduction. That's eliminating.
Well, this is what they do. They say, well, what if they turn things around on you? This is how they do it. They're like, what if a woman gets raped? Or if other incidents like that, and they're like, oh yes, and of course nobody, conservative, Democrat, Republican, or independent, whoever you are, of course nobody is gonna say,
this is where I disagree with Donald Trump in his statement. Yeah. He says laws should be put in place by the states, except if they do not make exemptions for rape, incest, or the life of the mother.
So he even brought that
up. But even Donald Trump brought that up. But this is my problem with this, okay? You know, let's use the example of rape. Now, look, that's a horrible thing when a woman is unfortunately sexually assaulted. Yeah. But when you go on the lines of, like, if you use Israel Houghton, you have Tim Tebow. Right. All these people were in the world standard was supposed to be aborted.
Right.
But they didn't. Look what the lives they have. Okay, if somebody is raped, unfortunately, you know, by a male, the male that raped the woman should be the person to be punished, not the child.
Right.
The child didn't do nothing.
Right.
Oh well, that's going to be a memory of the. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Well, give the child up for adoption.
Right, but he'll have a horrible life as adoption.
Well, we don't know that.
But that's what they say.
That's the and then incest. Okay, bro. Two people being closely related. It's still the same point. Yeah. Now, if the child is mentally unstable and stuff, we understand all that. Or the life of the mother. Okay, the life of the mother is not down. It shouldn't be the state saying, "Hey, you go ahead." It should be the parents that should make the decision. Which 9 out of 10, if a woman loves her child, she's gonna go ahead and have the child.
Right.
But I disagree with Donald Trump on that part.
Right.
But going back to the point of a 15-week abortion ban. Okay, I like I said, if Congress, not the Supreme Court, if Congress makes a law and it passes through the Senate and the presidency, it won't go through right now. You got the Democrats controlling the Senate. You have the president that's a Democrat. He ain't gonna. President Biden has already proved that he's a bad Catholic. He endorsed transgenderism and he endorses abortion. Yeah, he's a bad Catholic. Yeah. But it wasn't signed, so it got to be put up to the states. And like I said, if Congress would do it legally, which passed a law that would say, look, in the United States, it's 15 weeks. You couldn't have an abortion after 15. I wish Congress would come out and pass and say, look, there's no abortion whatsoever. It's not going to pass with the Democrat control.
Right.
And that's the sad thing. And like I said, why Donald Trump made the statement, I think Donald Trump's trying to show people, hey, he's trying to please us, the base, say, look, I'm against abortion. But at the same time, I think we need to make exemptions for incest and the life of the mother and rape and stuff. He's trying to play both sides. That's how I see it.
Yeah, me too. But the thing is, what people don't realize, they use that, but and there's the thing about the Democrats and liberals. They always do that. They take things like this instead of, well, you got to turn the tables on down.
They make this an issue. They make this an issue, okay, abortion.
Yeah. But
it is an issue in America. But I would tell people when this is a lot of people, this is their sole issue. How does a president feel about abortion? If he's for it, I'm going to vote for him. If he's not, I'm against it. If you're liberal. The thing of it is, though, there's a lot more issues out there than abortion.
They're trying to do that.
Look, this is what I can say about Donald Trump. Donald Trump, yeah, he did bring it out. We have to talk about it. Donald Trump shouldn't have probably even brought this out.
Right.
Boogie, you know the number one thing that people are worried about right now? The border crisis.
And the economy.
The economy second. Abortion, if it's in the top 5, I would be surprised.
Well, the reason why they're trying to bring up abortion, because they can't talk about the economy.
No.
I mean, it's all messed up. They can't talk about nothing else.
We're not live on TikTok right now, but I promise you, if we were live on TikTok, people would probably be going up in smoke because of the, of everything that we're talking about. But they can't run on nothing else.
No.
And look, same thing with the term for racism at the southern border. I watched Fox News Sunday on our local affiliate television network, Fox News. And they had a guy that was at the border. He was filming, and there was some guys trying to cross over, and they saw the cameras.
Yeah.
So they went back, and the first words they told this person? Hey, let us go across. Why you're so racist not to let us go across? Where are they learning that from?
Somebody.
You're supposed to be legal immigrants, but that's right. Well, if you don't let them come over, you're a racist. The Democrat Party and the leftists, they always do this. They always point to you're sexist, you're a homophobe, or you're racist, or hey, let's go to abortion. There's nothing. I've been saying it on a long time. Nobody has ever challenged me to it. Tell me what Biden has done good for this country in the last 4 years.
Even
nothing.
Even Obama. I mean, he did some things, but he didn't do much either.
Okay,
look about it.
Good or bad, at least you can say Obama with health care.
He did something.
Yeah, he did something. Look, even that. Do you know who deported more illegal immigrants than Donald Trump?
Probably
President Obama.
Yeah.
So at least Obama was trying to keep the numbers down.
Or trying to follow some law.
Yeah, and Biden and look, this is all for the progressive side, book, and it's sad because they're pushing this abortion, women's rights, or reproductive rights. Like I said, there's nothing with reproductive.
Well,
rights.
I heard one guy say this. I remember a Croatian guy was talking about that. He was talking about the liberals. Like, for example, they say, should we have prayer in public school? And he said, you should turn around. Okay, now there's a question: should we have public schools?
That's a good point.
And what should be taught in them? You see, you got to turn things, like Von Gino said the other day, and he's right. We need to learn how to turn things around and flip it on them. Like I was hearing a conservative was saying something about Donald Trump, and they turned it around. They're like, where's the evidence? Where's the video? He said it. Oh, this one said it.
This is the problem.
You got to turn it around.
And this is the abortion issue. Maybe this is what Donald Trump's trying to do, try to play defense. But the Republican Party don't know how to defend itself. None whatsoever.
No.
And Donald Trump is really the only Republican that knows how to fight back.
Right, and they don't like that.
And look,
he learned you have to turn their advances against them.
You need to do it respectfully. I have had people on this podcast that are left-leaning, and we haven't gotten to a duke-out battle where we're shouting all over and the cameras had to be turned off.
Right.
But I know what you're saying. You have to turn the tables on them. Hey, you asking me for evidence. What about your evidence? And look, I've done this with a mutual friend of ours where they used for January 6th. They told me Donald Trump never said go peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. I said, show me your evidence. He didn't say that. Oh, he didn't say it. I don't have to show you because he didn't say it. And I showed the evidence from left-leaning newspapers, Washington Post, and a left-leaning media company.
Yeah.
And he got flustered and left.
Well, it's just like the other day when they were trying to say that one media guy said, because remember when that Spanish guy murdered that lady in Texas, I think?
No, Georgia.
Georgia, whatever.
Lincoln Riley.
Yeah. Well, he said, well, he's an animal. And one guy took it all wrong. One liberal says, well, if he's saying he's a Spanish and he's saying they're all animals,
it's the same thing with the blood. It's the same thing with the bloodbath situation.
Yeah.
You know how many Democrats said bloodbath throughout the whole time?
And they took something like this and they totally made up a whole story.
Look, I haven't seen any on this particular video. I haven't seen any left-leaning reactions yet. But no, Donald Trump. You know, like I said, I agree with Donald Trump on the states issue because that's why we fought to get it back to the states. It's back to the states. I disagree with him on the exceptions, because life starts at conception, and all this was all about because the Democrats are pushing. Hey, if Donald Trump gets elected, he's going to push a 15-week ban, and Donald Trump's basically saying, "Look, I'm not going to push a ban. I'm going to see what goes on at the time." And this is all about Donald Trump trying to stop political fire right now.
Well, this is the thing. If the liberals want abortion, let them have it in their states. And the others that want, like Texas, Louisiana, and other states that don't want it, don't force us. See, that's the thing about the liberals. They want to force. They're like, what happened with communism, and they're doing like they're doing in Russia and communism, and they're doing what Hitler and the Nazis did. You're not with us, and you don't agree with our philosophy. You're not a Nazi. You're not a communist. You're not in our inner circle. We're gonna force things on you, and that's what the liberals are doing. You know, they don't have people forcing things on them, but they'll force things on us.
And it goes to the same. A guy that made a TikTok video the other day, 3.3 million views so far, and it was the difference between if a conservative does something, hey, he would do this and this, but if it's a liberal, they're going to do this and this. So, all right, let's move on to the next topic because, again, wrapping up with Donald Trump, this is a political stance from Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's I think he's trying to get people into the voting booth. But so to start off this next segment, we're going to talk about Israel. Okay. First, and I told you this earlier, we was in a conversation before you decided to come hang out with me tonight.
Yeah.
Book, if anybody ever tells me that the president don't have power,
they're lying.
I'm bringing up this story.
Right.
Because you remember a while back, this was a big controversy where Joe Biden said he couldn't do nothing at the border.
Yeah,
he didn't have power to do anything at the border. And I'm like, stop. Well, the president has a lot of power, especially in the world. And if you remember a couple of days ago, it was last Friday, Benjamin Netanyahu got warned by Biden. Said, listen, if you don't change what's going on in Gaza, especially with the humanitarian crisis that's going on, we're going to change our policy in Gaza, which I talked about this last week. What policies does Jerusalem, America have in Gaza? I don't know. But he warned President Benjamin Netanyahu, well, come to find out, our time Sunday morning, guess who's pulling out of the Gaza Strip?
Israel.
The Jewish forces. The IDF withdrawal forces from Gaza, sparking concerns of a new invasion. That is from Town Hall, which is a conservative newspaper. And they made the point to where Israel is hearing rumors that Iran is coming over and possibly try to start a war with Israel, which would not surprise me. Iran hates Israel.
They're using that as an excuse.
They're using that as an excuse. But I don't think it's a coincidence that Joe Biden makes a phone call to Benjamin Netanyahu, tells Benjamin Netanyahu, do something different, and you got to be pulled out. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu has made statements, and he has said, look, we're not ending the war. We will still invade Rafah. John Kirby, I think he's the something secretary to Joe Biden. I'm trying to remember. The National Security Communication Advisor told ABC News that this operation was not that the withdrawal was not a sign of a new incoming operation, but rather a rest or a refit, saying, hey, they're gonna rest the soldiers. So, Boog, my first note, I know you have a lot to say about this. If this is to rest the soldiers, I'm for it. Because they have been fighting.
If they did criminal crimes, war crimes.
Well, no, not even that. No. So
if they did, that's what I'm saying.
What you talking about?
I'm talking about if they did, they should be arrested. If they did,
no, not arrest, to rest.
Oh,
to
I'm
rest.
sorry, my bad. Okay.
No, to rest. Yeah,
I thought you said they want to arrest them.
My Cajun accent is going past
okay. I'm sorry, my bad.
No, but to rest the soldiers.
To give them to rest.
I'm for that. If they went ahead and they want the soldiers to rest, I'm for this. But I still, it don't settle with me. It don't settle with me that the Jewish people or the Jewish army is pulling out of Gaza right after Joe Biden called them. It don't make no sense.
Well, this is the thing. Got to realize we have protesters in America. And they're like Palestinians. We gotta help the Palestinians. They're
the pro-Hamas people.
Yeah. And we even got Americans that are born here that are they go to these colleges, and they've been propagandized. They've been lied to. They've been brainwashed that Israel is the bully. Israel is. They're the major power in the Middle East. They're bullying these poor Palestinians.
This is the issue, though, too, Boog. And I started reading some articles, and it made sense.
Yeah.
The world put Israel in a bad place.
Yes.
Because, okay, the Palestinians. A lot of these Palestinians support Hamas.
Right.
Hamas took over the Gaza Strip. They're a terrorist organization that controlled the Gaza Strip.
Right.
They should have been in charge of protecting civilians. But they don't even protect their own civilians when they're fighting. They hide behind the civilians because they know Israel is trying to do what's right. And the president of the United States, Joe Biden, basically told Israel, hey, you have to worry about your civilians in this war, and you have to worry about the Palestinian civilians.
But what about them?
And this is this all started because unfortunately there was some humanitarian workers that died because Israel shot a rocket and it did friendly fire.
Right.
So that made President Joe Biden, oh, this is the last straw. You got to do something different. Boogie, Israel's the only country that I'm aware of that calls the enemy ahead and says, look, we're coming in 5 days.
And I mean, they have...
Leave.
And they're the type of... If any army in the world has a system of protecting civilians, Israel has it. Israel's the best country or best armed forces in the world, probably better than us when it comes to civilians. They know how to protect civilians themselves, their civilians, and others. So this thing
look, this is the whole thing too. I don't agree with this, and I've discussed this on previous episodes. You know, it's funny how when America was bombing Baghdad,
we didn't ask no opinion.
We didn't ask no. And look, I said this in the last episode. My last episode was titled "Does Biden Want War or Peace?" Joe, what about Ukraine? You notice there. Because Ukraine is the victim in this. Ukraine should defend themselves. I'm for that.
Sure, yeah. Any democracy.
But you notice the Biden administration isn't telling Ukraine, hey, don't worry. Hey, you got to worry about Russian civilians.
Nope.
You're not hearing that.
Not even Russians. They're not even telling the Russians.
Yeah, they're not telling the Russians, hey, what about your civilians? What about the Ukrainian civilians? You're not hearing nothing about it. This argument is coming up only for Israel. And this put Israel in a bad spot to where now when an accident did happen, unfortunately it happened, and Israel has taken the blame for it.
Yeah.
Well, they said, look, we did it. We messed up. Now you have the world and our president. Oh, y'all got to do a immediate ceasefire. And all of a sudden now they're withdrawing troops.
Right.
Now, look, Hamas is declaring victory.
Right, sure.
Hey, we did it. Boogie, I don't understand this administration. I call President Joe Biden backwards Joe for a reason. Backwards Joe rather support, and and look, if he was sitting right across from us, or if somebody that's for Joe Biden, they would tell us, oh, that's not true. Joe Biden isn't for Hamas. Yeah, the way he's acting, he is. The way he's acting, he is.
If he is, or he's being pressured, one of the two.
Well, going back to your point earlier, I think he is getting pressured. Look, you had Michigan and you had other states where we're not committed was a protest vote. And look, I have this on my notes. You know, he's worried about these people voting for him. I'm glad you're here because I want to ask this question to you. Do you honestly think these people are going to go in November and vote for Donald Trump?
Probably, maybe so.
No, they're not, because you got to realize, Boogie, Trump was hard in the Muslim community.
Oh,
remember,
yes,
he sent the Muslim bombs.
You're right. Yes.
So there's no chance they're going to vote for Donald Trump.
But they might stay home.
They might stay home, yeah. And then if they go to Robert Kennedy, RFK, Robert Kennedy don't like them either.
Right.
So, I know Joe Biden's a couple of fries short of a Happy Meal.
Yeah.
But come on, do you honestly think that, if I don't do something, I'm going to lose these votes? The worst you can say is they're going to stay home, like you said.
Yeah, right. He so much want to win. He's so much...
He wants to stay in power.
Yeah, so
that is a big difference.
He
wants
hungry.
to stay in power. That's it.
And if a man or president or any leader is going to do that, he just soon get out. Because if he's going to do that, what else he's going to do? He's going to sell us out. He's going to sell out his own countrymen.
Now, I got a couple of other points too. We just talked about Hamas. What is the benefits for Hamas with this?
Survival?
Well, this is the thing. I think it's Rafah they talk about. They're in the whole Hamas organization's in Rafah.
Right.
They're hiding on the hospitals. They're being cowards. And this is the whole thing. You never know. And this happens with every bully. When a bully gets stand up and the guy walks away or the girl walks away, the bully stands up. Hey, I got you. They boast up. That's what Hamas has done. Hamas has claimed victory in Gaza. They're thugs. Now you giving Hamas. This is why I don't understand why Israel did this. Hamas can regroup and rebuild now, and get resources from Iran, Hezbollah, other terrorist organizations, and they can look. You thought October 7th was bad? If they ever get resources again to where they can do that, they will attack Israel again.
It's kind of like fighting a beast, but if you don't cut off the head.
Well, and this is the problem with the Biden administration pushing that they're gonna we gotta worry about the civilians. Hamas ain't worried about the civilians.
Yeah, right.
Hamas is not. Look, even Egypt's like, well, we want to help Gaza civilians. Why haven't you? You have a border right by the Gaza Strip
the gates
that you can open up and go. No, we don't want to.
Yeah.
And I just have an issue with this.
You know why they doing that? It's on purpose. Egypt, Jordan, they
all hate Israel.
They hate Israel, and they want the Palestinians there in a certain number. They want them there so they can be a thorn in Israel's side.
So I got a couple of other more points, and please, Phil, if you have another point, jump in too.
Right.
This is probably going to hurt Israel in the long run. It has hurt Israel.
It's going to create a future war.
I'm going to tell you, Boogie, who to blame.
Yeah.
It's not Israel, because Israel's pressured, because let me go like this. Israel's pressured by the president and the Democrats both.
Right.
One, because Biden is scared to do what's right. Boogie, he supports Ukraine more than he supports a ally. You know, and I tell people that Ukraine is not a ally per se. There's no treaty with Ukraine. There's no agreement that we have to support them, and we're supporting them more over an ally. And you know what? That's President Biden.
We put more pressure on Israel than Ukraine.
Right. And look, I said, remember when October 7th happened, when this whole attack unfortunately happened? I said this. Look, the Democrats are, Israel should support. Israel needs to fight. But when they kept on saying, but they need to worry about the Gaza people. Right there, I knew, hey, they're not going to support. And guess what? We're at a point where President Biden is considering, hey, I'm going to stop certain things to Israel. President Joe Biden is the first one to blame. And secondly is the whole Democrat Party, because I have an article here. Nancy Pelosi joins House Democrats, calls for Biden to halt weapon shipments to Israel. Okay, we want to send weapons to Ukraine.
But we're not gonna send
That's
weapons
not
to
an ally,
ally.
but to an ally in the Middle East, the only ally in the Middle East.
Unless Israel gives them a lot of money, like Ukraine.
Well, no,
did.
even that, because Israel does pay for their shipments. Israel does pay for weapons, and the Democrat Party wants to go ahead and stop shipments to Israel. Look, I just
but they're asking for it because I know some.
Why would any Jewish person vote Democrat?
Just like the blacks. I don't know why.
African Americans, you're right.
I don't understand why they vote Democrat either, because history proves they were against the blacks and the Jews. Always.
Right. Yeah, I just don't understand.
They just changed in the 60s or the 70s because they saw they can get more votes from the Jews and blacks. So all of a sudden they were, for the blacks and for the Jewish
black community.
people.
Yeah, it just
that's a whole nother program in itself.
I just don't understand why anybody would vote that. The Democrat Party is stopping shipments to. They want to stop shipments to Israel.
If I was Jews, I would protest, and I wouldn't say, "Hey, you're not getting Jewish votes."
But what's sad is they wouldn't even show the protest, because unless you're part of Black Lives Matter or you're part of the Palestinian
anything that's
program,
liberal,
you don't get no airtime. But like I said, I feel this is going to hurt Israel. Let's pray that it doesn't.
Right.
But now, look, let's hold Benjamin Netanyahu though, because like I said, Benjamin Netanyahu, he got some guts.
Yeah, right.
And
I kind of wish he was president.
Oh
here.
yeah, easy.
America.
But Benjamin Netanyahu said, "Look, this isn't a retreat. We're going back." And like I said, look, there is rumors that Iran is trying to invade Israel.
They're just using it as an excuse. They're using these Palestinians.
And that's the whole thing too. Okay, I understand. Look, war is horrible.
Right, sure.
And look, we fought the Afghanistan war, the Iraq war.
But the Democrats and these terrorists, they use emotions to control, to get what they want. They abuse that, and that's wrong. We shouldn't bow down to people that are using suffering. But the Democrat Party does that. They use suffering. They use crisis to their advantage, like this border stuff going on. I'm not trying to take away from Israel, but these poor illegals, they're drowning, this and that. But they're trying to do that to play on people's emotions.
You said it wrong. It's undocumented people.
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry. I'm forgetting.
You can't say illegal immigrants. No. Remember, the president got in trouble for that.
But the thing is, they're trying to play on conservatives and even Democrat liberals, other liberals. They're trying to play on America's emotions. So, hey, just bring them in. They're like, y'all suckers. We got more votes.
All right.
Yeah. That's what I'm just saying. These people are these Palestinian people are using their people to play on our emotions.
The terrorist groups are and look, like I said, but I don't even know why the Palestinians would support Hamas. When you go ahead and build your base under our hospital so people wouldn't send a rocket, you're a coward. But a bully only hides behind somebody else.
But these Muslims are so indoctrinated. They're like Hitler did with the Nazis. They've been so propagandized. They've been so lied to. You got to understand how Islam thinks. And some organizations, even in America, anything that's like the Democrat Party, it's all about their philosophy. It's all about their party or their religion. They got to take the world over, or they got to promote their religion or their politics more than their own people.
Yep, and it's sad. All right, let's talk about one other thing closer to home. You remember who Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is? He's the wrestler, the WWE guy, and he.
I'm not much into wrestling, but I think I heard about him. I think.
Well, the guy, like I said, when I brought it up to you, remember the movie The Game Plan by Disney?
Yes, I remember.
And he was the football player.
Oh, the actor.
So so Dwayne. Well, you know what other movie he played on? Remember that movie we brought Skyscraper when everything was flooded in the sky?
He's the
build
guy. I know you're talking about.
Guy. Moana. Remember the guy? So extremely liberal guy though too. But I've enjoyed some of his movies. Okay, I enjoy some of his movies. Well, I didn't agree with his 2020 stance where he endorsed President.
Of course, we know
Joe
why,
Biden. Well, he had a change of heart.
Oh, really?
He had a change of heart, and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, according to Fox News, he was on Fox and Friends, I think Friday, and he was with Will Cain. He reached out to Fox News and wanted Fox News to talk about this. And according to the article, and I watched some of the interview, he sounded off on cancel culture and why he would not be endorsing President Joe Biden this cycle. In an exclusive interview with Fox and Friends, he talked about cancel culture and how he was going to be himself. He wasn't going to worry about nothing no more. And then Cain asked him a question. Let me see where is it at, because he asked him about, they talked about cancel culture, but he asked him if he would be endorsing President Joe Biden again. I'm trying to find the quote because, Kane asks if he was happy with that endorsement 4 years ago and with the current state of American culture. Now, this is what I'm going to say about Dwayne Johnson. And look, I never had the pleasure of meeting Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm possibly never will, and maybe one day I will. I don't know. But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is an independent. And listen, and like I said, he has a lot of liberal views, but listen to his quote right here, Book, and I want to get your opinion on it. He said, "Am I happy with the state of America right now?" Well, that answer, no. This is a guy that endorsed Joe Biden and voted for Joe Biden 4 years ago. He's not happy how the state of America is.
I wonder how many.
We as Trump voters, at the end of 4 years, would say, hey, we were happy with Donald Trump's decisions, most of them, at least. Do I believe we're going to get better? I believe in that. I am an optimist guy, or somebody that's
looking forward to the future.
And I believe we can get better. He began that endorsement that I made years ago with Biden was what I thought was the best decision for me at the time. He said, however, he regretted the division caused by waging into politics, and said he would not be publicly endorsing a candidate this time around.
Wow, so he's not endorsing anybody.
Yeah, he said, am I going to do that again this year? That answer, no, I'm not going to do that. He told Kane, because what I realized that what that caused back then was something that tears me up in my guts back then, and now which is division, and that got me. So he said, because I went ahead and endorsed the candidate, people like myself probably went on the air and talked about how Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was supporting Joe Biden, and it caused division. And look, I'm going to be honest with you, Boog. I go to a movie theater, I don't want to worry about politics. When I watch football,
that's supposed to be out there.
When I watch football or I watch sports, I'm not worried about politics.
Entertainment as well.
Yeah, entertainment at all. I'm going there to watch a football game. I'm not worried about Taylor Swift and Jason Kelsey. I'm not worried about who's at the football game, which has been proven already. When Donald Trump shows up to a football game, you get cheers, and when Biden or Kamala Harris shows up, it's booing. But Boogie, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson regrets his decision 4 years ago.
Wow.
Overall, what do you think about the comments I just said? And do you think there's more people that regret the decision back in 2020?
I believe they did. I think the reason why, and most people believe this, and I kind of speculate this myself, you see, when Obama ran, he also ran as a Democrat. He ran, but also people went and voted because of him. You see,
people liked Obama.
Same thing with Donald Trump. People went vote Donald Trump because they liked what he
Obama. People liked Obama, and did not like the two candidates that were running against him,
exactly.
Mitt Romney and John McCain. I'm sorry, and John
That's
McCain.
Two different.
So John McCain and Mitt Romney. Especially what Mitt Romney's doing now, and John McCain did before his death.
Yeah.
People want what kind of president they would have been? They would have been spineless Republicans.
Trump is on the Earth, and they two on the moon.
Yeah,
and
they
Venus.
were on the moon, Mars.
Yeah. But the thing is, in this round, see, he didn't bring the crowd out. Joe Biden is not really a person that would bring people out. The only reason why people went vote for Joe Biden, because number one, he was the only candidate left, of course. Fortunately, he was the only one that was in the race. And two, they hated Trump. A lot of liberals hated his guts. So they're like, well, we gonna go vote for him because we just don't like Trump. So in other words, my whole thing is he did not bring a crowd. Like Rush Limbaugh said before he died, and he was right. He did not bring a crowd in. He was not a person that, it was because of the party. They voted for him because of the philosophy, the party. At least with the other presidents, Clinton, Obama, and the other ones, they voted for the party, of course, and they voted for their philosophy. But the presidents that ran, the people that ran, they had a certain character about them that draw people like a magnet.
Like I said, look, Obama was not he was a very popular president.
Sure, I agree. Yeah,
you know, and look, and Joe Biden has tried to say, well, I was part of the Obama administration. They were not voting for Biden; they were voting for Obama. Big difference, right there.
Big difference.
And look,
yeah,
if it wasn't for COVID, and it wasn't for the changing rules of elections,
right,
Biden would not have been president.
I don't think so.
And look, because I said the only thing that took Donald Trump down was a pandemic.
Right. Right.
And if you notice every time they have tried to prove that Biden has done something, they always use 2020 and later. They never talk about 2018 and 2019 when the economy was booming.
Oh yeah.
Before COVID, they always well look, Donald Trump in 2020 lost millions of jobs. But they forget about one thing, the coronavirus. And I think this is what Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, he is an independent, but I think look, props to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This man said he's not happy on the way how America is going. Not. If you have a little bit of common sense, you will see that this country is not better under Biden.
No, it's not.
And look, they're even quoting like the new job numbers that came out. Oh, we have 300-something million jobs or whatever the number is, 300-some thousand jobs. Come to find out, that's more. That's if you look at the data, and this is from Jesse Waters. A lot of that's going to illegal immigration. These are people that come across the border. They're getting these jobs.
It's not blue collar Americans.
There's millions of Americans that are sitting at their homes today or sitting on the side of the street because they don't have money.
Money for groceries or anything.
But you get these illegal immigrants. And look, we see this in the time. Look, your profession, my profession. Well, I see it in my profession because the builders. I go deliver sand.
Mostly 90% of it. Yeah.
I have to use my phone to translate with people. Now, these could be legal immigrants. I'm not. If they're legal, hey, props.
It's just the idea.
But, you know, and look, unfortunately, we got some lazy Americans.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I don't want to pick up a shovel. I don't want to build a house.
I want a clean job behind the desk making a bunch of money.
I want to be an influencer on YouTube.
Yeah,
and you don't have two pennies to rub against one another.
Right.
And look, I'm not the richest bean in the pot either, but I'm just saying.
Hey, but before I make it big, I have to go humble.
But when you, like I said, props to Dwayne Johnson for saying, look, I'm not agreeing how the country's going. And you know what? I think this is the problem that the Democrats have in this upcoming election. If Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is not hardcore left-leaning person,
but he's still
but he's a left-leaning person, and he's seeing, hey, I'm not happy.
Things are not looking.
It's not looking good. And look, I think this is why they're fighting RFK, because I heard today he only is down in one ballot right now, and that's Utah.
Wow.
But and look, I know a few people, and we're probably gonna have one of the RFK supporters come on pretty soon.
So he probably beat Joe Biden out of the water.
I think that's why they didn't want him to run in the Democrat side. Because Boogie, you know, Robert Kennedy is using TikTok. He's using Facebook. He's doing everything that Donald Trump did back in 2016.
He has to go to other platforms.
And I'm gonna be honest. Look, I'm gonna use for example like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Okay, if The Rock decides not to vote for Joe Biden, and he decides not to vote for Donald Trump, who he's going to vote for.
Right.
He got an option. He can stay home or he can vote third party. Who's the bigger third party candidate right now? RFK. And
I even heard some Republicans, even conservatives and Republicans would say, hey, if we had a choice between Joe Biden and him, we would vote for him before Joe Biden. Even conservatives said they'd rather vote for the Kennedy.
Yeah, and see, I think that's what's because Kennedy is gaining ground, dude. Yeah. I don't care who anybody says. If they keep him off the ballot, they're doing that on purpose.
Yeah.
And it's scary because, you know, that's election tampering with, if that is.
But this is what surprised me. Like me and Daddy was talking about that the other day. The Kennedys, I mean, other than the Clintons, the Kennedys are one of the families the Democrats worship.
Biggest names.
Yeah, and they're fighting against a candidate. So, you know, the Democrat Party is communist now, or they sunk low. The Democrat Party that we have today is not the same Democrat Party, even when Bill Clinton was president.
No,
I'm sorry.
But Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson did make some waves with that, and I think he regrets his endorsement of Joe Biden. He didn't say it in the interview, but I think he regrets.
Well, Joe Biden was hiding a lot of his true colors. You know, at the time, because of the COVID, they used the COVID. They created a crisis. And I believe they use a crisis for their advantage. Like you said, perfect example. under Donald Trump, a lot of jobs are being lost. Like to say it because of his policies.
Well,
it's because of the COVID.
I told you this earlier, too.
That's what they were trying to tell the people.
I told you this earlier, too. The Democrat Party's main weapon right now is memory loss.
Yes.
They're hoping that American citizens will see those graphs and say, oh, Donald Trump didn't do nothing in his presidency. You're taking from 2017 when he was sworn in to 2020 when he got out, and you're only taking 2019 to the end part of you're taking all late night 2019 to 2020. And you're building your whole campaign on a 2020 year that was filled with the coronavirus. Look, if you remember, we just started Brothers Just Searching at that time.
Yeah.
We had to go ahead and make measures to do our podcast.
Yeah.
We didn't know if we could record because you, me, and Brother Daniel at the time were all in a room, and we had to figure out ways how to do our podcast without
getting COVID.
Yeah, without getting COVID. We didn't know everything that was going on, but that's the whole. Donald Trump lost all these people, and I hope people do like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. They look at all the evidence and they say, wait a minute. We are not better off than we were 4 years ago.
No.
Just think about this before we get into our next story, because we're going to have about 15 minutes left.
Okay.
Donald Trump had us oil independent.
Yes.
The economy was booming. Illegal immigration was at the lowest that it ever was. They trying to say wages are going up right now. That's not. I don't believe that.
I don't believe that at all.
Wages were truly going up. Food prices were going down. Inflation was under 2%.
Yeah,
it was almost non-existent.
America was the top dog at the time.
At the top, and according to Trump, if he would have got reelected, he would have started selling our oil so we could start bringing down the debt. You have a president, because I think Donald Trump, when he got out of office, it was sitting at $28 trillion. Now, Donald Trump did bring it up, and I disagree with Donald Trump on that.
Right, and the Republicans too.
But you had from $28 trillion to almost $35 trillion. You brought it almost up to almost a $7 trillion in your first 4 years. Illegal immigration is up. You have almost 10 million people come across that border. I think there's several states that it would fill the population of that state.
Oh yeah, and they know that. That's why they're doing that.
They know that. And Boog, your people are not better off than they were 4 years ago under Donald Trump. I'm sorry, you can't tell me.
I mean, think about it. I mean, you go to the store. I mean, you're paying triple than what you paid when Donald Trump was in office. You were paying reasonable. Like for what? Well, how much is milk now?
Milk $6-7 here.
I think with
in California it's over $12 a
gallon. It's always expensive in California, no matter if it's a good economy or bad.
But this is the whole thing now, because I know we got to get to our next story.
Right.
But using the inflation, for example, President Joe Biden's like, oh, we brought it down to 5%.
That's a lie.
Yeah, no, he did. It has gone down. But you got to remember that is after him raising up to 9%, and it's peaking, then starting to come down. It had to come down because they did stuff with the Internal Revenue Service. They did stuff with they did stuff to bring it down just before an election year.
Yeah, well, I heard a while. I know we're about to get that topic, but they were saying the other day, we're finally working with companies to see how we can stop the price of food and everything. I'm thinking, why y'all didn't do that before? All of a sudden, election time's coming. It's amazing how they're conservative when election time comes around.
All right, one more story before we wrap up. And so there's an ABC movie called Blackish.
Oh, I heard about it.
Yeah, you heard about it. And
Yeah.
there's a.
Is it still playing?
No, it's off the air.
Oh, okay.
Jennifer Lewis is one of the stars on the show, and she made some interesting comments.
Liberal, I'm sure, and Democrat.
Yes, liberal. ABC's Blackish star Jennifer Lewis offered a dire assessment of race relationships in America during a recent radio interview, claiming that white people in America are scared of brown people.
Oh, really?
And seeking ways to put them in their places, like electing former President Donald Trump. She also blasted individuals not interested in voting in 2024's presidential election, warning them that if Trump wins re-election, he will tear up the Constitution in our face, declare himself king of the effing world, and put us all in minority camps.
Well,
okay, but before you, I know you got something to say. This is what I get, Boogie. the left always says, and they listen to podcasts like this.
They use scare tactics.
You're using scare tactics to get your base out there. This woman is going on the radio and first of all saying Donald Trump's going to tear up the Constitution. Donald Trump is one of the only presidents in my lifetime that has followed the Constitution to the T. The President Joe Biden is tearing up the Constitution, and secondly, telling that Donald Trump is going to put all minorities in concentration camps.
Really? Okay.
And America's just going to be for white people. Boogie, who's using scare tactics?
Look. Number one. Okay, this is the thing about this lady. She needs to. You could tell she's doctrinated. You can tell you could tell like she's 100% for the Democrat Party. If anybody would put them in concentration camps, it would be Democrats. I'm sorry. If anybody,
who was the party that started the KKK?
The Democrats.
Who was against the black community in the '60s with Dr. Martin Luther King?
The Democrats. And you know what?
Who wanted to go ahead and vote against the Emancipation Proclamation?
The Democrats.
Every Democrat.
Who stopped the Democrats in the South from voting after the Civil War? The Democrats. They threatened them. They sent some people to threaten them to make sure they didn't go vote. Yeah,
but the Republicans and Donald Trump.
Well, she's a traitor.
Put minorities in concentrated camps.
Well, just Joe Biden said that when Obama ran, he said they'll put y'all back in chains. And I was like, it's Democrats that did that.
No. She also made another point too. She blasted individuals for not being interested in voting in 2024 presidential. Boogie, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of Republicans are interested.
But Democrats and liberals are not. They can say their base is low right now.
I heard this week that Florida is no longer a swing state because they had 900-some-thousand people register as a Republican.
Wow, so that's going to go to...
Florida is bright red. Louisiana is bright red.
And Texas is too.
Texas is having issues, but they're majority red.
Right.
Boogie, you know why? And I'm going to answer the question for her, and I want, if you agree with me, tell me. You know why Democrats are not interested in this election? Going back to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, they trusted Biden to do something different, and instead of doing something different, he went back to the old liberal ways.
He went backwards.
He has ramped it up to 10. Now we're in a situation where our economy is bad. But we're in the same boat. The Democrats in the same boat as in 2008 when Barack Obama got into President George Bush did so much stuff in his 2 terms. His last term, he had a lot of issues, and Republicans didn't want to vote for John McCain, so they stayed home. Obama got into office.
People stayed home.
2012, 4 million Republicans did not go vote for Mitt Romney.
Right.
They didn't like Mitt Romney. Guess who got elected? President Barack Obama. People did not like Hillary Clinton, so they stayed home, and Donald Trump got into office.
So you think it might happen this round?
It would have happened in 2020 if we didn't have the confusion of the coronavirus. Yeah, people don't like Biden.
No, they don't.
People do not.
He's not
like
exciting.
Biden.
He can't draw ants.
No, he can't draw flies to a poop party.
The only reason why I believe he's in there, I'm not trying to be a conspiracist, but Americans need to start waking up. The only reason why he's in there is because I believe the Federal Reserve and other people who control the government behind the scenes, they put him in there. And companies and businesses who like him.
Look what's going on.
They don't want to put him in there, not the people.
Let's go according to this right now, though. Look at they're all bragging about how he's bringing in millions and millions of dollars more than Trump. Well, first off, Donald Trump has tons of legal fees that the RNC is trying. The RNC was not making money until Donald Trump put somebody in that knew how to control money.
Right.
Now they're making money. And at the same point, multi-million-dollar donors are giving to Joe Biden.
Sure.
And
they got to control him more and more.
Right. And that's why they're getting his money. But this lady making these claims, that's what got me. It just hit me that, they're gonna put minorities in camps. That how much more fear mongering, and liberals would tell us, y'all fear mongering. We're not fear mongering. We're trying to tell you the truth. This is fear mongering right here.
Yeah, she's trying to get blacks to go vote for Joe Biden. She's used by the Democrat Party. She's black and she's used by the liberals as their mouthpiece.
Yeah, and
to get all. That's what they do. They use these black celebrities, like what's her name? Whoopi Goldberg, whatever her name is. They use people like her to keep the blacks in line.
Yeah, well, keep the black community in check.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and and she's one of them. It sounds like to me.
Yep, it's sad. With that being said, it's going to wrap up this episode. This is our opinions on the latest news that's going on. Please remember to like and subscribe to the show, the Cajun Conservative and Brother.
Yeah.
But with that being said, it's going to wrap up this episode of the Cajun Conservative Show. Please remember to like and to subscribe to the show. If you can, tell us a little bit about yourself. Leave a comment, and we'll get to you. Remember, Jesus Christ is King, and He's coming back, and He's coming back soon. So don't be faint of heart, because Jesus has overcome the world. If you know Jesus, your Lord and Savior, reach out to us, and we'll tell you to make Jesus your Savior, and heaven your home. Until next time, be blessed, be encouraged.